Hello and welcome. Becoming a banker to the poor is a lot easier than you think. You can now help lift people out of poverty with as little as the equivalent of $25 thanks to a website that effectively targets the needy. Kiva.org is only 2 years old, but in that short time, it has made big waves in the world of microfinance. On the Kiva website, you can browse through details of thousands of very small businesses in countries ranging from Cambodia to Honduras to Uganda. You can then select the entrepreneur you'd like to invest in and the amount you'd like to send. Within a year, you get real-time feedback from the business owner and repayment of your loan begins. Now, Kiva means agreement or unity in Swahili, and it is taking the microfinance concept made popular by the Nobel Peace Prize winner Muhammad Yunus to a global scale. Don't forget, we take your calls on the show and you can reach us on the numbers at the bottom of your screen. Joining me from San Francisco in California, where Kiva is based, is the organization's president, Premal Shah, who left the internet company PayPal to pursue his dream of bringing microfinance to the masses. Premal, welcome.
Thank you.
Before we get on to the phenomenon that Kiva is, just explain to me how you personally got involved. What was it that inspired you and triggered you to take this path?
Well, I was born in India, and my family immigrated to the United States. And I had a chance on many occasions to go back and visit, and what struck me was the profound level of poverty, the injustice around that. And I ended up having, making a career here in Silicon Valley at PayPal, which is an internet company, internet payments company, and together with some people, I started thinking about, wouldn't it be interesting if we could connect small businesses in the developing world with those folks who might be willing to lend them a little money over the internet. And so for me personally, I think it's the blend of microfinance, which we know works well and has been popularized by, I think, last year's Nobel Peace Prize winner Muhammad Yunus. And it's the making of small loans to the poor so that they can lift themselves out of poverty, and combining that with the internet, which I think we've seen with the rise of all these great companies that have scaled very quickly, that if you blend the two ideas together, you can create something that's quite profound, a very compelling way to get involved as a business partner with someone around the world.
Actually, Premal, let's hear, you mentioned Muhammad Yunus, the Nobel Peace Laureate from last year and the founder of the GRAMEEN Bank, which pioneered microfinance for a lot of people. We spoke to him actually on the show a while back, and I want to just let our viewers hear something about what he said the situation was like before microfinance began. This is Muhammad Yunus.
They had to borrow from the loan sharks, the money lenders, and money lenders kind of squeeze everything out of them because they borrowed from them. So I said, well, this is a very simple problem I can solve. I took a survey of the village who were borrowing from the money lenders. When my survey was complete, there were 42 names on that list, and the total money they borrowed was $27. So I said, my God, this is a problem of $27. I can give it from my own pocket. So actually literally did it. I gave them the $27, tell them you return this money to the money lenders, you carry on your life free without the intervention.
Now, Premal, in the same way that GRAMEEN Bank that Muhammad Yunus there, Dr. Yunus started, has grown into this multi-billion, $5–6 billion enterprise, Kiva has been a phenomenal success in just 2 years. Why do you think it's worked so well?
Because I think it's people-powered. Essentially what it does is it lets organizations like the GRAMEEN Bank, and there's 5,000 or 10,000 other NGOs around the world that are making loans to the poor. And if they had more money, they would lend to more of the poor in a socially responsible way. And what Kiva allows them to do is to post up profiles, pictures, and business plans of entrepreneurs in their community onto the website, and then anyone with a credit card and an internet connection can come and actually lend money, not donate money, but actually make a 0% interest loan. Just like if I were to make you a loan, it wouldn't charge you interest because we're friends. In that same way, the internet can really connect people and personalize the person around the world, and you would lend to them at 0% interest because you know that that money would be used to buy something tangible like a sewing machine or a rickshaw, and then once they can earn their way out of poverty, they can repay you back. And the repayment rates in microfinance are over 97%. On the Kiva website, it's 99%. And I think in just short 2 years, because we make it very easy for you to actually do good at a very low cost to you, a $25 loan, and then you get it back within a year, and then you can recycle it and relend it to another entrepreneur. It becomes almost a fun experience or a very meaningful experience to actually see where your money is going and participate in someone's business success around the world.
Fantastic. I hope people do get a chance to go and check out the Kiva website, because it's quite remarkable. But let me ask you one thing about the stories that you hear of, the success stories. I know there have been a couple of really interesting ones where people have really done amazing things with the small loans they had.
Well, you know, there's so many stories on the site. I mean, the site, I think, well, oftentimes what's missing when you give a donation is you don't know where your money goes. And people generally want to do something good. And the beautiful thing about the internet is you can get that transparency. You can see who exactly your money is helping, and you know it's helping in a sustainable way because they're earning you know, an income based off of the loan that they're able to finance, you know, maybe a tractor or an irrigation pump with. And so the website is full of business plans and pictures and then stories of the impact of your loan. And so in 6 to 12 months, you not only get your money back typically, but you'll get updates on how that business is progressing and some of the challenges they might be facing. And sometimes you see stories that are completely unexpected, stories where the loan doesn't work out as well. And I think even seeing when things don't work, it makes you trust when the data tells you that it is working. Right. So I think that's what we strive to be, is a very transparent website around philanthropy, so people can actually see the impact of the loan.
Let's take one example then. Angel, the Bulgarian bicycle repairman.
Sure. So with Angel, Angel is he lives in Bulgaria, in the slums of Bulgaria, and he was working at a bike repair shop and wanted to start his own bike repair shop. And he went to 6 banks in the slums, and he was declined for a loan from all 6 banks because he's part of the Roma ethnicity, otherwise known as the Gypsies, and they're often discriminated against when they want to get a loan. So he was able to get a loan through Kiva, roughly a $500 loan, and with this loan he actually started a bicycle repair shop, and within 1 year he repaid that loan. That business is thriving. He's supporting his mother and his small brother, as his younger brother, and now he's thinking about taking a second loan, and he's going to create, kind of expand this business. So it's just one example, I think, of you know, the ideas and the energy and the entrepreneurial drive is in the local places, but it was just it was a small bit of working capital, an opportunity that was provided by 15 other people around the internet who chipped in and provided that $500 loan to Angel that has allowed him to you know, create a small business and provide for his family.
I love the statement I read that said that, you know, if microfinance builds on the principle that teaching a man to fish is infinitely better than simply giving him fish, and that recipients already know how to fish, they just need a loan so they can buy a net. That's from one of your spokespeople at Kiva. Now, you explained, you know, about people chipping in together. It's not just the lending money, is it? It's the social networking.
That's right. So the other unique thing I think about Kiva and about what the internet can do is, you know, you're not in it alone. Oftentimes when you are asked to make a donation to something, it feels like the UN or the World Bank will talk about billions of dollars that are needed, and then it often, I think, inhibits giving because you feel like, well, what can my $25 do? But with Kiva, you can actually see how your $25, and then within 1 day, usually 10 to 15 other individuals from around the internet will come in and chip in $25 to help fully fund one of the entrepreneurs on the website. You can see how you, together with a few other people around the internet, very quickly can raise a lot of money and kind of co-finance or be the venture capitalists together for that small business somewhere on earth. And so you can learn about the other co-investors, the other lenders on the site by clicking on their photo and why they lend and what they do for a living. And ultimately, Kiva is a social network, if you think about it. It's a website of people who work for a living, which is just about everyone, connecting with each other, learning about each other, and figuring out ways that we can kind of support one another. And I think it's you know, hopefully it'll be an internet public good, similar to Wikipedia, with its beauty and scope, where you can really learn and connect with other people.
Premal, tell me, what have the biggest challenges been? What's the biggest challenge you've faced in making Kiva work?
You know, I think in the beginning it was kind of a crazy idea to think that you know, people would lend money to people that they've never met in Uganda, all the way across the world. It was a crazy idea in that would the NGOs, would the microfinance organizations actually take photos and post up profiles of these entrepreneurs on the internet? Would people come to kiva.org? We were just a small website that no one had heard of. And you know, you never know. If people don't come to your website, then the NGOs, the microfinance institutions around the world won't post up the profiles of the entrepreneurs. And in the beginning, if no one's making loans, then no one's going to be seeking loans on an online marketplace. I think jump-starting that was the big challenge.
I think you pointed out earlier on how it's, you know, it's about being transparent, and I wonder how you pick the entrepreneurs, because I think that's one of the key things. Many people worry their money is being, as you say, put into the far-off places where they don't see it happening. But how do you pick the entrepreneurs? How do you create a vetting system?
So Kiva's vetting system is that there's Kiva, and then there's the local field partner, the NGO, the non-governmental organization or microfinance institution in the field, and then there's the entrepreneur on our website. And Kiva vets the microfinance institutions, and then the microfinance institutions, they're the local experts, and they're the ones who are screening the entrepreneurs. And so essentially what Kiva has done is we have a system that screens all the different microfinance institutions. Today we're working with almost 70 microfinance institutions in 40 countries. And these microfinance institutions are turning around and taking photos and posting up business plans of the businesses in their community onto the website. And what we aspire to create is a very transparent website filled with data and stories around which businesses are paying back and which businesses aren't paying back, when money didn't reach the person as intended, when it did reach the person. And really that transparency, I think, is what will engender trust and with the internet community and get people to actually not be so afraid to give because they can trust that it's going to work, or that in all probability it will work because there's so much evidence and so much clear data on it working. So you know, today you know, we publish the repayment rates, we publish when there's fraud, and you know, I'm happy to say that today over 97% of the payments of the loans have actually gone into the entrepreneurs and are in the course of being repaid on time. So it's just astounding what you can do when you create a transparent marketplace. And then Kiva, of course, does a lot of auditing in the field. So we send literally hundreds of people now to these places to visit the entrepreneurs and to visit the microfinance institutions to make sure that your loan is being dutifully administered.
And presumably most of the entrepreneurs, as is the case when I was researching the interview with Mohammed Yunus, most of the entrepreneurs are women.
That's true. So what's interesting is that women typically have a harder time finding a loan than men, particularly in the developing world if you're very poor. But conversely, women have been shown to not only have a higher repayment rate than men, but that when women receive a loan, that the actual impact on the household, on the family of that extra income is greater in terms of higher nutritional values in the home, in terms of kids' education. It seems like women, the data over 30 years, it suggests that women tend to be more responsible borrowers than men in microfinance. And so on Kiva's website, the majority of the borrowers are women as well, and they tend to get funded about 2.5 times faster than men on our website.
Who's providing the money? Have you been able to establish? I guess being on the internet it's easier to establish, but who lends the money? Which countries are the most generous in terms of helping Kiva work? The kind of people who are involved?
Well, what's interesting is, so we've had about 130,000, 140,000 now internet lenders from 50 countries around the world. So it's truly a global website. It's not just US. In fact, 1 out of 5 people who make a loan on the Kiva website are outside the United States. Now, typically, when we first started, it was kind of the younger, more technology-savvy folks who read the blogosphere, those were the early adopters of Kiva. But now it seems we see people, kind of senior citizens, kind of everyday people, and people of modest means essentially putting in $25 or $50 into the system. And what's great is you can see their photos, so it really seems like a broad cross-section of society, and it's wonderful that it's just not just US. It's far beyond that now.
Premal, does it limit it to some degree by it being an online system? Does it limit the kind of entrepreneurs who can actually come forward? Does it limit the kind of people who can actually contribute?
Well, so there's two sides of it. There's the folks who can make loans, the lenders on Kiva, and that is limited by the internet and by having a credit card. So you need to be able to make an e-commerce transaction, buy a book on Amazon, or make a loan on Kiva. You have to be familiar with the computer, and so but we've seen people in 50 countries do this now. So the internet is spreading very quickly, and so are credit cards. On the borrower side, these low-income entrepreneurs, they're from 40 developing countries, and they don't necessarily need to be online. They need to work with a local microfinance organization or a local organization that is connected to the internet. And so many of these borrowers are illiterate, are not connected to the internet, but they're working with literally a banker on a bicycle who can go to the internet cafe and post up the photo and the profile onto Kiva's site.
All right, well, literally 30 seconds to go here, Premal, but let me ask you, you had a great boost when Bill Clinton mentioned you in his book, mentioned Kiva in his book Giving. The profile's growing, and what are your next steps with that?
Well, we want to continue to expand to more countries. Today we're in 3 countries in the Middle East, for example. Next year in 2008, in year 3, we'd like to be across the Middle East. So continuing to expand and continuing to get the word out about Kiva so that people know about this new way to do good.
Right. Premal Shah, thank you very much. What a great way to do some good. More power to you. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
Kiva.org is the site. Do go and check it out. Do some good as well. Thanks for being with us. On the next show, we'll be that's on Monday. We'll be discussing the crisis in Pakistan with a suspended constitution, thousands of lawyers and opposition activists in jail, and a stranglehold on the media. What's in store for this troubled country? If you have any topics you think we should be discussing on the show, send your emails to riz@aljazeera.net, and don't forget to check out our question of the week on YouTube. We'll see you next time. Street Talk's coming up next.